Welcome, everybody, to Campaigns Concoctions, where we are a bunch of melancholic marauders who like to drink and play D&D.
That is way too accurate.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
I feel like it hits all of us at this point. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling. As always, we're really, really excited that you're joining us. I know that a lot of you haven't been listening lately, but we love you anyways. I know I pretty much...
Yeah. We want to shame our listeners for not listening enough.
I am going to shame them all.
Obviously, if you're hearing this right now, you're part of the problem.
Yes.
If you're hearing this right now, you're not part of the problem, and I love you more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
I'm not shaming our listeners. I'm shaming those who aren't listening, and they're just going to get that energy in the universe.
So they're, by definition, not currently listeners, and they fucking should be. God damn it.
God damn it.
We are delightful.
We are delightful.
Very much so.
Especially Matt.
Yes, Matt is quite delightful. Matt is
delightful.
All right. So I asked this before, but as always, I'm going to give you some alibis here. Anybody got anything that they want to share that we're pitching today?
Come hang out with me at the place I'm working.
Hey, kiddo.
Hey, kiddo. You're going to love it.
So...
They will not make you a cocktail based on your astrological sign.
That is correct. I will not make you a cocktail based on your astrological sign.
And if someone asks you, you just tell them to fuck off.
Yes. I'll be like, no, we don't do that bullshit here. Tell me what celebrity you want me to base a cocktail off of, all right? Or what movie. But I'm not doing some bullshit around Zodiac.
Which book within the Dune series do you want me to base your cocktail
off?
Yes,
what book or character within Dune would you like me to base your cocktail off of?
Okay, so
I can make you a Gurney Halleck right now.
I was going to say, like, what's the Duncan, Idaho? That's what we're making it. Next break.
Okay.
Yeah, we will have a Duncan, Idaho. That's happening.
So with all that being said, though, thank you again. We have cocktails, and the good thing is right now, none of you guys are hearing the bullshit that they're doing right now, because when I'm speaking, they stop recording for some reason and we can't figure it out. So they're laughing and they're being fucking ridiculous right now. And so I'm just going to keep talking because I love them and I just want to keep rubbing them the wrong way. So what are we drinking tonight, fellas?
Matt made a cocktail.
I made a cocktail. It's all right. I think I'm probably going to fuck with this a little bit more over the course of the evening, but I did, right, like I'm still doing the Manhattan Riff thing. So it's 2 ounces of Woods gin?
Yeah. Woods gin, yeah.
Out of Salida, Colorado, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I did a half an ounce.
It's an oaked gin. It's almost an Old Tom gin.
Yeah.
It's close.
It's not sweet like an Old Tom.
Yeah, but it's not. It's still very.
It's got a really good, like, floral, like, very aromatic flavor profile. It's not it's not like super hot, but it's got a good bite. It's really nice gin.
Yeah, it's a really nice gin. So I did Benedictine, and a half ounce of Benedictine and a half ounce of yellow chartreuse in this, and then a couple dashes of plum bitters and a couple dashes of lavender bitters. And so like it's all working well. It's really got that like licorice-y.
From the Benny and the yellow together. Yeah,
so it might be we might be seeing this a little bit later on in the evening with some Amaro Noonan or Aperol.
Yeah. And then I made a cocktail. It's a standard cocktail build, I'll call it. I wouldn't say it's based off of anything in particular, but you could maybe call it a non-egg white sour might be the right way to approach it. It's 2 ounces of Sotol, a half ounce of Benedictine, a half ounce of yellow chartreuse, a half ounce of orgeat, and roughly 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. We haven't been pre-squeezing our lemon juice recently, so this was fresh squeezed lemon juice just literally into the shaker. But it was a half a lemon, and that's going to come out to about 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, roughly. It might be, a few milliliters over or under, but it's pretty close. I think it turned out really well. I garnished it with a lemon wheel. It is bright. It is
boozy.
Refreshing. It's boozy. It's all those things that I tend to love.
You get the nuttiness from the orgeat.
Yeah, the orgeat nuttiness is right there, but you also get the smokiness from that Sotal. And
this
then
is
the yellow chartreuse keeps it bright, and the Benedictine is making it nice and herbal,
blending it all together, kind of. Yeah. The Sotal is the Desert Door 100 proof aged Sotal.
Yeah, it's really good Sotal.
Yeah,
it is so
it's
delightful.
so nice to just drink neat.
Yeah, I'm about to pour myself a neat pour of it, to be honest, in like 5 minutes here. Yeah,
I got a high Sotal from John.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Where the strainers are.
I'll just slap. Wherever the strainers are. We lost our strainers. I will fully slap a bottle nipple on that bottle of fucking Sotal and just suck on it like a fucking baby, dude. Like, I will drink that shit all night.
Crazy strong there.
Yeah. Absolutely. No problem.
Okay. So, with that, it's going to be herding cats tonight. I have the feeling.
Yes, it is.
Sorry.
Sorry, Morgan.
Also, the last time, something that we forgot until after we had ended recording last session, we leveled up.
Yes, we did.
So we are now rocking at level 8, and so everyone did their thing. What's that? Level 9 then. Okay.
9.
Because I cannot get any of my levels straight in any of my games, so it's all good. It's 100% a thing I do. And then if there's nothing else, the last time we got together, the party was cleaning up some stuff centered around completing the robbery of Residuum. And
Can I just interject our HP rolls? Does anybody else know their HP rolls?
Nope.
No. Just me and Curtis. You remember yours? Me, Curtis, and Nate.
I do not remember mine.
Got the same amount of health points.
All right.
Barely.
So 4 of us know what our HP rolls were. Go on ahead, guys.
Patrice rolled a 3 on a 6 on a D6.
Sid took a level of fighter as well and rolled a 3 on a D10.
Oh.
It's okay. I rolled really well other than that.
I was gonna say, Sarc took a level of fighter and rolled a 7 on a D10.
Nice.
And now I'm not allowed to gain hit points ever again because I'm at 69.
There we go. Yes, perfect.
That's right.
I rolled a level of, I think, fighter as well.
Yeah.
And I got a 6 on a D10, which I'm pretty happy with, considering that my last 2 rolls were a 3 and a 4 on D8s. So, yeah. Do I have?
I don't think I rolled, actually.
I didn't roll because I didn't want to doing it. So.
Did you figure out which level you were taking though?
No, I did not.
That's why you didn't roll.
Yeah, that's why you didn't
That's why I didn't roll.
Well, we'll take that for
problems.
you in a few minutes.
Yeah, I am currently a warlock, deep court warlock, Pact of the Blade, and also a fighter. And I'm very excited about it. And this is what happens when you have an amazing DM who's like, you built a story around this. Now your character can do what they want at this junction. Do they want to take another level of warlock? Do they want to take a level of fighter? Do they want to take, like, this is what you've built yourself towards RP wise, and now I get to do whatever the fuck I want with this character within the realm of what I built RP wise, and this is going to be fucking awesome.
All right. So there we go, y'all. That's what we're looking at. The last time we got together, the party was reconstituting themselves after the theft of Residuum from the mine. What did we get and what did we roll?
I rolled an 8, and I'm taking a 3rd warlock level.
There we go.
8 on.
As the party was kind of counting everything and returned to the ship, they were gathering information. They were planning on what they were going to do, as well as to practice the jumping off the ship and getting picked off, which went sort of better than people were expecting. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either.
Nobody died.
And then there was the big
Participation.
Remember, guys, I can't hear you when I'm talking. It's not that I don't want you to not talk. I want to hear what you're having to say. There was the big reveal of coming across the horizon to Tinkermire. the bronze shine on the bay of the Hill Hazy Lagoon, and the also reveal of the manager, this white vampiric appearing beholder floating down from the ceiling and having a beginnings of a conversation. So we pick up in the manager's office. The manager is behind his desk. The 6 of you are sitting there. And it was just it was just small talk that had been made. So he looks at the 6 of you. Actually, he looks at L and Sarc. I was expecting the 2 of you home, but I wasn't necessarily expecting the 4 of them to join you right away. So is there something particular that the 6 of you is to attempt right now?
We have unrefined residuum to process and sell,
That can be taken care of.
with the cut going to the business for whatever needs you need, since it is residuum.
Typical cut, just the processing fee.
How much is that?
So how much? I know someone else wrote it down. How much did you guys have? It was in like the 200, almost 300 range, I believe, pounds.
329.
Yeah, 329.
So, Curtis, I'm gonna have you do some math.
319.
I need you to tell me what is 70% of that total.
It's gonna be 224.
So so this is what the manager is going to be telling you as he's going to ask questions as we process.
I just did it on my calculator, and that's right. Yeah.
Good job, Brain.
As we process the residual, we generally lose about 30% of the weight. It was 2 what?
224.
So that will be you will return with 224 pounds of processed residual. The company will take 10% of that as a processing fee, and the rest is yours to do as you wish.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'm fine with that.
201.
So the current price of residual is approximately 5,000 platinum pieces per processed pound. So the 6 of you have come into quite the windfall. So we can take care of that if I will make sure that those who know will come.
5,000 platinum per pound.
5,000 platinum.
Enough of you use magic. I'm assuming that we'll sell like 150 pounds of it and keep 51 for experimentation.
How much?
uses.
How much do we end up with after their fee?
201 pounds.
201 pounds.
So even if we keep 26 pounds,
what's? And I'm like talking to Sarc and L in like a sidebar way, but like the way that you are at like a corporate table where like we're sidebarring, but everyone can hear us. Like we all know that you can hear what the fuck we're saying, but we're pretending that this is a sidebar conversation. What's the manager's name?
The manager. Like that would be your answer.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sark doesn't respond. He's just like,
Yeah, and then I go.
You beat me to it by like half a breath.
And what's the manager's salutation? Is it Mr.? Is it Miss? Is it Mix? Is it
Sark just starts signing like,
John, it's not Mr. Manager. It's just Manager.
Well, I thought it was Mr. the Manager.
You can either call me manager. Mix is appropriate.
Mix Manager. This seems like an extremely reasonable transaction to me and my crew.
Because in the 4,000 years of my existence, my entire purpose has been to find a pirate's opinion of me reasonable.
I believe that to be true.
And as his 9 eyes are looking at you, Scald,
Yes.
his very large eye turns back to Sarc and L. Just before we get too deep into this, when the 7 of us are done, I need to speak to you two.
Of course.
Yep.
But outside of this residual, what is it that the 6 of you are here to achieve? Because 6, or really 4 of you, can really throw off the equilibrium of my city. That may not be a bad thing. I know why I brought these 2 back. And you watch him, so his bottom 2... So for those of you who may have heard of Beholders in the past, he seems to have more eye stalks. And he uses his bottom 2. He speaks very much like an Italian man with his hands, but it's 2 eyeballs.
Yes.
Right?
He's gesticulating with eye stalks.
Yeah. He's already a terrifying creature.
Yeah.
And this little bit
Goes like this at you, and you're like, no, I'm not comfy.
You wonder why Sarc has such weird mannerisms.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
He says, I know why I've brought these 2 back. Are the 4 of you seeking to join my employ?
What does that entail?
We do have shit.
Well,
Technically.
there is a certain amount of freedom, but at the same time, an increased lack of it.
I, for one, am not a fan of anything that decreases my ability to do whatever the fuck I feel like doing.
I had a feeling, but I'm trying to figure you out. Information is my business, and I don't like not knowing.
I might be open to contract work for you.
Easily done. But again, I ask you, what is it that you are doing here?
We're here with Sarc and L.
Okay.
He's got a list of people that he wants to kill. He's exploring. She's looking for someone. I don't know why the fuck she's here.
I just rent the boat.
You're
Fucking
the,
L's, L. You just gonna lay that shit out there?
He already has your list. Who do you think's looking into it?
This is where the list went when you asked for information on them.
it is nice. It is nice to put faces to the information.
This is the face. Isn't it glorious?
It's
I find it no better nor worse than the typical humanoid face.
You know, I accept that as a compliment.
You should. For you, though, I will say that the search is ongoing. There is no definitive answer for you yet, but my people are working.
The sooner I can break their fingers and lash them to a pole in the tide, the better.
Honestly, don't care what you do with the information, as long as it's fairly compensated.
It'll always be fairly compensated.
Well, I would ask the 4 of you, and he points to Scald, Esway, Sid, and Patrice. And if you wouldn't mind, and you hear a click, and you turn around and you watch as a portion of the wall just slides open. And if you would please wait outside in our waiting area. We have some business to attend with my employees.
Sid will head through the door.
Patrice is doing math on his fingers.
Okay.
And then he gets a look on his face of like disbelief of how insanely
The
wealthy
number, yeah.
we are right now. Like owning of countries level of
Yeah.
125,000 platinum pieces each.
Yes.
Yeah.
125,000.
Skeld has also done this mental calculus and is attempting to keep a straight face. And I'm going to roll performance for that.
Right.
Because I feel like it's appropriate. I did not bad. I rolled a 15.
Probably a little bit of a smirk.
Yeah, like he's definitely got a smirk. He's definitely like his eyes are a little bit wider than usual.
His eye was a little bit wider.
His one eye, the one eye that shows, is definitely a little bit wider than usual. And he's definitely like scanning the room, but not like furtively. He's like deliberately scanning the room to like assess the facial expressions of his cohorts. And he's going to try his damnedest to wait until Sarc and L leave the room before he gets up to leave the room. And he's still in his spot, reclined across an armchair with legs over an arm and an elbow over the other arm, smoking a cigar and sipping on whatever brandy.
So you're going to try and stay here after he's asked you all to leave?
Until Sarc and L leave, yes.
We were asked to stay.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't leave, you will be removed.
Oh, you meant me too.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm not used to being dismissed, but...
Well, it wasn't a dismissal, but it is now.
Under current circumstances, I'm perfectly fine with being dismissed from this party. I hope that you guys have a wondrous conversation. Sarc, I'll see you soon. Mix Manager, I cannot express to you the pleasure that this meeting has been, and I look forward to our future endeavors. And then Skeld walks out the door.
The whole time Skeld has been talking, Al has been sitting there shaking his head. This fucking idiot's gonna get himself killed.
So,
It's not the worst thing in the world for Skeld.
I'm gonna have to punch him.
I would like the four of you to that are leaving to make a quick perception check for me, please, to see the room. So what is that?
I got a 7.
I do got
11.
12. Thanks for double proficiency.
Skeld is gold blind right now.
I think we all are.
What was yours? 10, and then what was your Sid?
12.
Yeah.
Yours?
So just kind of the broad strokes, you know. So if you guys don't remember from last week, the room does look over instead of looking over the bay, which you would actually expect because that's probably the better view. The room itself actually looks over the city, and as you turn around, you see that the room itself is kind of like a half circle. Above the manager's desk is a solid cutout where the manager had floated down from, but lining the wall of this room are stands that seem to hold a multitude of objects. Because those were not great rolls, you can't really decipher what they are, but they do seem to hold a place of importance to the manager. And then also, as the door slides open, the objects slide with the door.
Oh, fuck.
You walk out to the waiting room where you see a fairly large wooden desk with a youngish tiefling behind it. She is quite lovely. Sitting, and there's some really nice furniture set up for you to sit in. And at no point has anyone asked any of you who are smoking to stop. So it's a very nice thing, right? However, the smoke doesn't last very long. It seems to dissipate very quickly, and the smell along with it.
Oh, I'm going to try blowing smoke rings.
As you try and blow a smoke ring, it blows and then disappears.
Interesting.
As the last of you exit the threshold, you hear the sound. It's really quiet, but you can, because you know that it's there, you hear the sound of the doors it's sliding, and there's a very definitive click as the door latches. The Sarc and L. The manager takes a very deep breath. I have not met one of that audacity in quite some time. It is annoying yet refreshing.
That pretty much sums him up.
You can smite him whenever you want to, but he's kind of useful.
Pretty sure a lot of that was front too.
It's all good. It's there. I don't even have like what he would actually say. That's the only thing that can come out of my mouth right there. Well, like I said, I was not expecting the four of them to be attending right away, but I should have known. It seems like the six of you have done some quite spectacular things together already. Reminded me of some of the other groups that I have hired out throughout the years. But if you recall, the reason that I brought the two of you back was to begin the investigation to some of these ruins, similar to the ones that you found under Haven. Is that still within the scope of y'all's plans? Has anything changed recently?
The only plan I had coming here was to get the residual taken care of. Other than that, I was planning to be at your disposal.
Excellent.
With Richter daughter as well.
Well, with that, she's currently downstairs.
Jesus, really?
It's one of the few times that Sarc is very glad that no one else is in the room because he visibly shudders having these two people in the same approximate space.
Love it. Love it.
That is objectively terrifying.
Yeah.
That's like having the president and the vice president being on the same plane.
So the manager chuckles as he watches as his metallically wooden automaton employee shivers and says, I can understand that, which is why she's not here. I figure the two of us in one room would have been too much for all of you. Her and I are on quite lovely terms. We usually go have a meal together whenever she's in town. But you did reach out and say that you wanted to talk to her, and apparently she's interested in speaking to the six of you. So before we dive into any kind of tasking for the two of you, other than the typical eyes open, ears to the ground, I'm going to send the six of you downstairs to my private meeting room where some light fare and wine have been provided. And Madame Richter's daughter would like to speak to the six of you.
Of note that I don't think we sent in a message, Mage House of Tel Kabahad has the mortar and pestle of the three ladies.
You watch as soon as you say that, a fairly elegant quill takes flight and begins to scribble across a notepad on his desk, and then returns to it. Well, I don't know. Go ahead.
Also, the three current avatars, manifestations of the three ladies, were dead in their house.
He watches the quill returns and starts to scribble even more furiously. Well, the mortar and pestle was one thing. I don't think that that's going to lead to any kind of drastic change. But that last bit of information, that's something. So, thank you for that as always. Payment will be as usual for those kind of terms. Payment will be made into your rooms as usual, which are cleaned and prepared for you. Go for it, dude. It's part of the ambiance, right?
Can't hear it. Okay, cool.
So as he looks at you and he says that Now I lost my train of thought. Shit.
I apologize.
Oh, you're good, dude. It's not. It happens. Oh, there it is. So my hope for you today is that you go and have this brief meeting with Madame Richter's daughter, and then you spend the rest of the day and tomorrow morning getting yourself and your compatriots settled into the city, and then we will talk. Would you like to have your 4 compatriots here with you as we discuss our future plans?
Unless there's something you want to keep particularly private.
At this point, there isn't, and the 2 of you have definitely earned a level of trust that I was surprised that you have earned, but I'm not disappointed.
I also think that may depend on what Richter's daughter has for us, because her requests sometimes have a time constraint, so we may need to have those 4 working on other things.
Well, mine's not a time constraint. Those ruins, as of right now, are not moving. And I think it's time that, with the 6 of yours experience up in Haven, that some of these have been tied together, and we need to understand what is happening. So, we can adjust fire as we need to. But with that, I shall leave you. Also, L. I just wanted to let you know that the current situation is still unchanged. You are still... Everything's still copacetic, if you understand my meaning.
Thank you.
And will be as far as I can maintain it.
Just got it.
But with that, gentlemen, I have nothing else for you. Enjoy your evening, your day, and the rest of your evening.
You as well.
Of course, sir. I give a deep bow.
And you're gonna watch him as he floats up to the top, through back to his own personal quarters. The doors begin to open. Sarc and L walk through and into the waiting room. And at that point, why don't we take our first break for the evening?
Yes.
We will be back in just a few moments as I really gather my thoughts, because I really did lose my train of thought there. So just hold on for a minute and we'll be right back. Back, everybody, to Campaigns Concoctions, where there's too few of us that get way too animated about women's national team football. Go USA. It's the closest you'll get to a lot of us being patriotic.
That's about it. So for my 4th of July party I went to, I realized the only USA stuff I had is soccer related.
Yeah. So
at this point in my life.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
all right, fellas, what are we drinking?
I'll go first. I'm naming this Lila Blanca. It's 2 3/4 ounce Blanco mezcal. Davida. Joven, sorry.
Yeah.
Joven mezcal. 3/4 ounce. The lilac syrup. This is like the first thing I found that you can really pull the lilac syrup, pull the lilac flavor
really
in.
well with mezcal. Yeah.
And then 1 dash. What are those? Chipotle bitters?
No, the Mole ones
Mole.
or the
Mole.
habanero ones.
Habanero. I think it's
Habanero
one
shrub.
dash.
Habanero
Habanero
shrub,
shrub bitters from
Bittermans.
Bittermans.
Yeah.
And then just lemon peel lightly expressed because it will overpower if you do too much. And then I just drop that peel into the glass. Came out really nice.
You didn't say twist it, rub it around the rim, and drop it in though.
I didn't twist it though. I did rub it around the rim.
Okay, well that counts.
Yeah,
I didn't want to
That's the
twist
most
it.
important part.
Yeah.
Twisting
that
it's
is
not
the
as
most
important as rubbing it around the rim.
You got to rub it around the rim and then drop it in.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah. Who else made a cocktail? Matt, did you make a cocktail?
No, it's
I fixed the
okay.
first cocktail I made. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's fine.
So I made something from not just a bartender on TikTok. I think his name's Chris. He calls it the Swoon in June. It's his first competition cocktail. It just sounded fun. It has quarter ounce of creme de cassis, half an ounce of the Alvier Soler 1927 Pedro Jimenez sherry.
It's good.
3/4 of an ounce of
Very good sherry.
lemon juice, 2 ounces of Four Roses bourbon. Muddle mint and blackberries in the bottom, pour everything on top. Add an egg white. I dry shook with ice, and then reverse dry shook
Oh,
for the
Getting
fun of it to
fancy.
try.
Getting
Yeah,
fancy.
I know. Strain through a fine strainer into a frozen coupe, because as he says, if you don't freeze your coupes, you're a poop. And it's just fun to say.
he's not wrong.
And then garnish with a
That
mint
came
top.
from
And
another.
it's
There's a story behind it. It comes from another TikTok guy.
it's very subtle for one of the cocktails at our table.
Mm-hmm.
I like
It's
it,
real
though. I like
soft.
it.
It's real
It's very
gentle.
soft. It's very
It's
soft.
velvety. Yeah.
It's got a good mouthfeel, good consistency.
If anything, I would add more mint next time.
I might try and do one of the other.
Like a few more leaves in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those sound delicious, and fuck all y'all.
I will say that Matt refined his build a little bit. Matt, was your refinement?
I literally swapped out the Benedictine for
Nonino Amaro.
Nonino Amaro, and it's better.
It is objectively better.
Right.
And like I'm the one who suggested the Benedictine, and I think the Nonino is better.
No, Dustin tasted it and he was like, "Can you make me one of those?"
Yeah.
So we know the cocktail has
we
been fixed.
know it's been fixed.
the
It's been fixed.
ultimate compliment I can give
And
to this
then
table.
I made a Malortai with no pineapple.
Malortai.
Yeah, I made 2 ounces of plantation overproof rum, and then 1 ounce of Malort, about 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, a full ounce of cane syrup.
Wasn't enough.
It was not enough.
Yeah.
It was not. It was objectively not enough. And then I did a full dropper of the lavender bitters and a full dropper of the mole bitters, and I did a half ounce of yellow chartreuse.
Could have used a little bit more of everything and less Malort.
Yeah, it could have used a little bit more of everything and no Malort.
Yeah. Then it would have been a Mai Tai, which is a delicious drink.
It would have been. It would have been. But I will say, I made an extra $20 in tips above the 30% that my guest was tipping in the first place when I made this drink for him. The only difference was I also added an ounce of pineapple juice, but we didn't have pineapple juice.
Yes, we do. It's in the fridge outside.
Well, fuck.
All right, shall we get to?
Yes.
All right.
D&D.
All right. So the four of you, that is Skjald, Esway, Sid, and Patrice, are sitting there discussing how you're going to break down all of this fucking money that you're going to get, right? Because it's, what was it, 500 pounds of platinum apiece?
No,
Yeah,
it was 2,506 pounds of platinum apiece. Pounds.
Pounds.
Each one of us has a ton of platinum coins.
A literal ton.
I didn't realize.
Ton and a quarter.
I thought we were converting like residuum pounds into platinum pieces.
We did, and then I changed it into pounds because there was too many coins. It's easier to talk in pounds of platinum. We work in pounds of platinum as our new logo.
So it's not retired.
We work in pounds of platinum.
And that's an accurate statement.
So as the four of you are discussing this, right? You hear the click of the door, and you watch as it slides open, and you watch as Sarc and L come out. And Sarc and L, you will hear them talking about pounds of platinum.
So Patrice, I could just buy a Haven, like the entire island.
Yeah, and have
Pretty
plenty
close.
left over.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're
people
shopping.
Do you want
There's a
to?
lot of places to go
You want to
shopping.
open a bar and restaurant together? I feel like I know a little bit about liquor.
Who's gonna cook?
Somebody. We'll find someone. Do you remember a place that used to
We have a
have
meeting with one of the Richters that we're going to be late for.
now.
Do you remember a place that used to have
Prosper?
people dressed up as gorillas jumping into very small pools across a waterfall?
I thought it was the one that was stationed here.
I don't think that was ever shaded. I don't think they franchised. I don't think it was ever hidden.
No, but I feel like we could hire their head chef. Their head chef is amazing.
It was called Bossa Canita.
Yeah, it was Bossa Canita.
Bossa Canita.
Bossa Canita, that's the place.
Yeah.
We could poach their head chef and open a new place on Haven, and that would be the new draw for Haven. Like, yeah, it's a place to sell,
It's
rum
kitschy.
you may have stolen, but
Yeah,
also, like
you get all that
people-
tourist traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like
The
there's a
locals
market for
wouldn't
this.
go there.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Why would they do that?
Yeah. We don't
Yeah.
keep the Richter family waiting.
Oh, we need to go see the Richter family?
There's
Yes,
one waiting
downstairs.
for us downstairs.
Oh, okay, let's do that.
I'm intrigued about the gorillas.
Yeah, I think the gorillas can really be a selling point.
As we
I'm just
walk.
saying.
What the fuck is a gorilla?
It's a very large monkey.
The fuck is a monkey?
It's a very small
I
man.
cast polymorph on Skjald and turn him into a green gorilla.
And then Skjald gesticulates in such a fashion as to say, this is a gorilla. Except that I'm green. And I don't know how Skjald gesticulates the part that he shouldn't be green. But he is attempting to gesticulate that he should not be green.
Patrice, I feel like you got the color wrong on this. I've also just decided that Haven has gorillas.
Right.
So that's why Patrice and I are familiar with them.
Do
Yes.
gorillas normally have seizures like this?
No, I think it's just skull.
No, okay.
And then Skjald starts doing sign language.
And I turn him
that you
off
can-
immediately
That
before he does
Sark
something
understands, which is, fuck you, I'm not having a seizure.
Well, if I remember correctly, you gain the intelligence of the creature that you're polymorphed into.
you keep your own intelligence.
No, that's for druids.
yeah.
Polymorph,
Oh.
you lose your polymorph. You have the intelligence of what
All right,
you turned
well, then
into.
I don't gesticulate much of anything.
You're a bit smarter than Carl.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit, like 2 points smarter. Approximately 2 points smarter. Carl's pretty smart.
Yeah, Carl's a good. That's why I was a
good
Carl.
boy. Carl's a good boy.
Yeah.
So I'm like 1 point smarter than Carl.
Yeah.
But at this point, Elle and Sark have kind of began to lead you down a couple flights of stairs. Are you keeping Sark in gorilla form?
God. No, I dropped it right as he started doing sign language because I thought it might offend somebody.
You've seen me do tons of sign language.
I don't know. It just seems weird when it comes from a gorilla.
As we're walking downstairs, I was like, why do you want a gorilla in a restaurant?
Entertainment value. And then I turn to Patrice and I say, just wait until this planet gets taken over by the apes.
We're gonna get sued.
There's
I
already
very specifically did not use any trademark phrases.
there's already a skull on the beach. It already fits.
But was there a very tall woman with a torch and a book?
No, well, we have enough money to do.
We
To
can
oh
make
my
it. We
god!
can make it.
Okay, Crossburn.
Let's get
So-
into our meeting.
As you come to the it's a pretty ornate set of double doors, and in this case you are now going to be entering facing towards to the east, and this is going to be, as you open up the door, you see you're kind of initially blinded as the sun is reflecting off the water of the lagoon, and it's coming in, and you see this gorgeous wood table with chairs for about 16 people. Standing in front of the window is the familiar form of Prosperin Richter's daughter. Her trench coat, her long duster, I should say, is sitting on the table, or not on the table, on the chair, hanging on the chair at the far end. She is in brown leather slacks, a waistcoat, and a kind of a peach-colored shirt that has been rolled up to the sleeves. Her hat is sitting on the table. She wears a bolero hat normally, if you guys remember.
Yep.
And as the door opens, she turns and you see that face that is white up or black up top and then white that kind of fades down, and you see her sleeves have been rolled and the black of her hands are there. And she smiles. And it is very warm and inviting, yet at the same time, for most of you, it sends shivers down your spines. Just because you know the power of this woman, right? And so she, as she smiles, she says, "Please, sit. I'm so happy to see all of you again. How are you?"
Talking about pounds of platinum now.
Pounds. I've never quite heard it described that way.
Well, you have now. That's how we operate.
Breaking the mold, I see. I was going to say but how is your crew? How is everybody?
Our crew is doing very well.
They are going to enjoy their shore leave very shortly.
Yes. And I think they're probably going to be excited about the pounds of platinum once we tell them about it.
Excellent. I'm very, very happy.
They're also going to get pounds of platinum.
Please make sure that you take care of them. They have done a very good job of taking care of me.
We always do.
They've done a very good job of taking care of us as well so far.
Yeah, they had a harrowing time while we were somewhere else. So yeah, it was an intense time for them while we were away, and they were
consummate professionals.
Not only professional but efficient.
Yes.
Well, it won't be the first time they've had to pull someone out of a, say, hazardous situation.
I think they were in the hazardous situation more than we were.
Definitely.
And they held their own and did a great job, and they were there for us when we were out.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I did get your message. Unfortunately, we were in town, or easily to get to town. But there's someone that I would like you to meet. And she snaps. And all of a sudden, to her right, a cloud of mist rises. And stepping out of it is a man in a high-necked robe, tied up, or buttoned up to the neck. A very wide brim loose hat with basically a bandana across his face. All you can really see are from about the eyelids to the high cheekbones. He steps across and you just feel an instant chill enters the room. And I can't do it, I just need you to imagine the deepest boom, like the Allstate guy, like Dennis Hasbert kind of deep boom, right? As he comes up and speaks. Well met, my new friends. I am the Lord Richter.
If L is seated already, he's gonna stand up and bow.
This is like
Please.
I don't need a constitution check. Yeah, Sarc might give him a deeper bow than the manager at this point. Just like, oh god, okay.
What colors his skin is?
Make a perception check.
Skin.
It's going to be a 13.
It's hard to tell. The shadows, like he's a good emo kid, right? Like he definitely has the ability to have good effect, right? So it's really hard to tell. The only thing that you can see is the blaring purple of his eyeballs looking at you.
The Lord Richter's just your own way. It's fine. It's fine.
I mean, am I wrong?
No.
Oh my gosh, all I can picture is the lead singer of the Christian emo band I listened to.
No, this is way worse. Trust me, way worse.
The description you gave was hysterical.
So he says, no. This is informal. Please sit down. Sit down. We would like to invite you to our home. We think that some of our goals and those of the owner of this building align. So we would like to offer you, sometime in the immediate future, the ability to come and stay in Bergheim and peruse our archives and maybe take a stroll through some of the places underneath our city.
I was very much sitting at attention, staring very intently now.
Sid audibly takes a deep breath and exhales as she is no longer feeling conflicted between the manager and Prosperin. I would love to take you up on that offer. Lord Richter, I've been dying to meet you.
Bergheim, is that landlocked? That's not like a port that I've ever made call at.
Is that Matt asking or is that SOA asking?
That was SOA.
I was about to say.
Come on.
100% SOA.
I know.
I'm like, SOA doesn't know shit about this person.
Have I been to Bergheim?
No, none of you guys have. Elle and Sarc know about it because the manager has told them about it in the course of the game, but other than that, no one really knows. You know about it. That's about it.
Gotcha.
And he says, unfortunately, most likely no. We just recently returned to this plane of existence about 20 years ago.
Oh shit.
So,
is that Bergheim or you returned to this?
well,
plane?
the entire plateau that I is my domain. We have 3 cities, as well as a pretty solid population. I mean, obviously nothing of the 16 million that are here in Tinkermire, but you know we're close to about 500,000 on the plateau. So I had separated us from this plane to protect my people until some of my best had rid this area of a existential threat. Some of them have come home, not all of them. One still concerns me, which we will have to talk about later. I believe Prosperin has given you a little bit of a touch of our concerns about that person.
When you say your people, do you mean tieflings in general or your household?
Well, he kind of looks up, his eyes kind of go up, and then you realize that he's not a tiefling.
Sure.
And he says,
Not a tiefling.
and at this point, it's Prosperin that speaks and says,
Is he a beholder?
no,
Right.
he's something else.
I was scared. Sorry, that's not necessary.
Prosperin says, we actually have some of everybody. All mortals reside within Bergheim. We were a haven for many, many, many who sought protection. And when the dangers that my father mentioned came, is when about a millennia ago, he separated our home from this place.
So if he's not a tiefling, can I tell what he is?
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
It's going to be a 15.
Also, are you trying to be discreet? I'm pretty sure I
Yes.
know the. Okay, roll a. How do you want to do this? I'll let you decide. Sleight of hand or stealth. One of those two. Oof, you're probably going to get this one.
It's going to be an 18 for either.
Okay. So as you look at him, he is tall, slender. He does not have a tail. He doesn't seem to have any of the markings of what you can see on his face that would signify him as an Asmar. His skin is kind of palish gray. But I mean, it's really hard to see as covered up as he is. All you can see is his hands, and he's actually wearing gloves. But it looks like they're just normal hands, and really the only thing, it's really hard to tell, but he kind of looks like a baseline human, right? It's like the closest thing you can see.
Gotcha.
So you seem very old.
You could say that.
What we very much appreciate this invitation to your home. What do you want us to do there?
Well, in consultation with the manager, there's some information that we may have in our archives, in the forbidden section of one of our clans, that could be pertaining to some lines of research that he is interested in. And also some of the areas underneath that create the underside of the plateau date from before the Age of Arcana, which I believe some of you have been around. Go ahead, Nate.
The manager wants us to come and take a look at your ruins.
Soon.
Does this have anything to do with the specimen that you picked up from us?
No, that is something completely different. Maybe. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure that thing out.
Does it have anything?
Go ahead.
Where you got the specimen from?
Maybe.
Okay.
Not even I have seen something like this creature before.
Oh, shit.
I'm glad we gave it to her. I didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, that thing was feisty.
That happens. We are in no rush. It seems that our goals are aligned in a way that no one's in any rush. I also believe that this research here may help you in something that we have put you on retainer for.
All the more reason to then.
Get through all my notes.
Ovisium?
Yes.
And whatever prison he's in.
It's Raven something. I'm trying to remember what it is.
Ravenhold?
Ravenhold, yep.
The Ravenhold Institute. Magical flying, highly guarded. Magically.
I believe that some of the technology that the creators of the Institute used came from the time that these ruins are from, which were a time before me. But I don't want to set a timetable. You do have a way to get a hold of my daughter. I believe that there's still some meetings, and he looks at L and Sarc. There are still some meetings to be had with your employer, with you.
Sarc reflexively tries to disappear into non-existent shadows.
That's fair.
Up till he looks over, Al has very much been the 5-year-old that wants to tell you about their day, but knows they're not supposed to. Kind of bouncing, visibly trying to keep his mouth shut. And after that, after Richter looks at him with that question, he'll nod and say, yes, there's still at least one meeting we have to have. And I'm sure they have never been to Tinkermire before, so there are several places that they need to visit.
And again, they're working in pounds of platinum, so they have plenty of distractions available to their whim.
Well, for those of you, as this is the first time for some of you in Tinkermire, and especially since you have pounds of platinum, I would recommend at least one meal at Grace. It is located on the pier, and he turns around and he points out the window. And as you look down, you can see that it's surprising for as large as this body of water is. There's only one pier that juts out. Everywhere else seems that the majority of the cargo is moved through airship, because as you look out the window, you just see the sky crisscrossed with them. And he points, and there is this beautiful 2-story glass and stone building that is on the edge, and he says that may be the finest dining in all of the syndicate. But if there is nothing else,
I'm assuming I haven't been there before, right?
Probably not. It is fucking expensive.
Okay.
The last party that I sent there, the manager paid for it.
Good meal.
That was a fun session. He says, I just wanted to extend this invitation personally to let you know that at the request of my daughter, you are fully welcomed into any entrance of the plateau in Bergheim itself.
Lord Richter, how do we get there?
Just reach out to my daughter. We'll get you there.
Perfect.
Well, I shall take my leave of you. And he kind of steps back. He, kind of does one of those, has his arms behind his back very subtly. And then just kind of in full glory, just kind of extends them and brings it back in, snaps his fingers, and just cloud encompasses him as he disappears. And he looks at, and then Prosperin looks at the six of you. Dad has a flair for the dramatic.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. When you got to find your entertainment after about 2,200 years. So, but
Seems like to be alive.
It's he has the bane of immortality, as you will.
What race is he? What species? I don't recognize it.
You wouldn't.
As we all stare intently at Matt.
Asway knows nothing.
Good players right there when they're like, nope.
Well, I will say this. Just the next time that you see him, perhaps we can maybe provide some more information. It's not something he likes to share in even as private as a forum as this.
Huh. Interesting.
I understand your interest and possible concern with not knowing.
No, it's just interest.
But
Isn't that floating eyeball we talked to upstairs just as old?
There's
At
more
least.
than one eyeball.
At least.
In my understanding, that my father has him by a few centuries.
No shit. Older than a beholder.
Well, older than that beholder.
I feel like after 2,000 years, a century here or there is kind of irrelevant.
They
Right, every year they get together and have a joint millennium party.
Right.
they have known each other since before the plateau disappeared.
Would you call them millennials?
Yes.
Yeah.
Boo. Boo.
Killing so many industries.
So many industries. Killing so many industries. Those goddamn millennials.
I mean, the boss has killed a lot of people.
Exactly. Exactly.
And industries.
industries, actually.
Well, if the six of you have nothing else for me, I would like to have a word with, oh my God, where are my notes? I cannot remember his name. Matt, what's his name? The manager. Do you remember?
Oh, the actual manager's name?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta say it?
Yeah, say it.
Okay, Zinthor.
Zinthor, thank you. That's right. And she says, if I don't know how I forgot, right? She says, if there's nothing else for you, I would like to go have a drink with Zinthor.
Who's Zinthor?
Oh, don't worry about it. And then she walks straight out the door.
I feel like Sarc and L look at each other and are just completely baffled. Like,
Yep, totally.
Checks out.
Yeah. Like when you learn your mom's name is not Bomb.
Especially your first.
yeah, Sark's like, who?
The last time one of Matt's characters learned that name, the manager threatened to kill them if she ever used it again.
It was fun. It's like she went out of her way to find out that name and then casually dropped into conversation
Nice.
and almost died.
Oh, yes. As well you should.
Yeah.
Yes.
fucking
It was
great.
wonderful, and
That's the right way.
every real person in the party's head turned to Matt and was like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, yeah.
So,
I love
as
that. Such a scary fucking person to be
It
working
really
for.
is. It
It's
really
great.
is.
I'm so happy to share this with other people.
you were working for the preeminent information broker of all of Libarth. It's fun, and one of the most dangerous people who have ever lived. Two groups.
He's working for Skeld.
Yeah. Accurate.
Technically, he works for a lot of people as an information broker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
We work directly
He's
for him.
servicing
My
us.
employees. My
Yes.
employees.
Yes.
Yes.
as Prosperin walks out the door, we're going to take our next break, and we will be back in just a few moments. Welcome back, everyone, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we like to make things in weird things and real estate and whatever. No, D&D. We had some weird conversations, family. Like, how much was the price of real estate in Tinkermire, magic items, and then, yeah, so that's what it is. So, what are we drinking, y'all?
Okay, so I did another riff on the drink I've been making all night. So this time I did green chartreuse, and with mezcal and Amaranino, and then I swapped out the bitters for mole bitters. Still my Manhattan build, so 2 ounces, half ounce. It's very nice.
It's very nice.
Pretty happy about it.
I made a equity parts Garita.
Sotalgarita.
So tall Garita. So
A
it's
Sotal Equitigarita.
No.
Just no.
So, and as John likes to say, equity parts is where you're getting the exact same amount from all the different ingredients. So it's 3 ounces of Sotal, it's 2 bar spoons of agave syrup, it's 4 droppers of mole bitters, 10 drops of saline. You do a squirt of lime out of a lime wedge to taste. You stir it in the glass and you rub the lime wedge around the rim. You do not drop it in though. You kind of hang it off the side.
No, you hang it off the side. Hang it off the side.
Yeah. My preference is less saline, more lime.
So here's the deal. Curtis said the same amount, not equal parts, and that's the difference. You get the same amount of flavor from each of these things by
putting a harmonious amount.
Putting in a harmonious amount of flavor from each of these things by putting in wildly different amounts of these things, and that's equity parts.
And you could
an equity parts drink is the correct amount of parts for each thing,
and for each person. Too.
And for each person, that's right.
So an equity parts drink for this one really puts the Sotal in
right at the front.
Right at the front. It's carrying the drink. It's delicious. If you've never had Sotal before, put it on the short list of things you haven't done that you need to give it a shot.
It's mezcal, but it's not.
Yeah, it's a lovely cousin to mezcal.
There's some legal things when it comes to booze, family. Like you can't call it Scotch if it's not distilled in Scotland. You can't call it tequila or mezcal if it's not distilled in Mexico. So that's where these things come from. So it's the same process, but the thing is because it's here, like Peachtree Distilling here in Grand Junction makes a agave that is excellent. It's basically a tequila, but it has a lot different flavors because a lot of the stuff is locally sourced. So it changes it just enough to be wonderfully different.
Also, we were actually talking about this. Sotal, it's a different plant. It's not agave.
It's not agave. It's a different plant.
Distilling method is mezcal.
It's the same method as mezcal, but it is a different desert palm plant
called the desert spoon.
The desert spoon. Also, tequila is a type of mezcal.
Yes.
For those who don't know, tequila is a type of mezcal. Tequila. So a lot of people say that tequila has to be 100% blue agave, and that is not true. That is not true.
Most of it is.
Most tequila is 100% blue agave. Tequila is a blue agave distillate that is a subsect of mezcal. However, tequila can have additives. Tequila is similar to Canadian whiskey in that it has to have a certain percentage of blue agave distillate in order for it to be considered tequila, but it can have additives above and beyond that, which is where you get a lot of the vanilla notes in a particular celebrity-owned brand of tequila that we will not name, but we will say that it has a house full of friends. And those folks who understand Spanish will understand what that means. And the recipe for the House Full of Friends was effectively stolen from the largest tequila producer in the world, or arguably, let's say arguably the largest tequila producer in the world. But it has to be some percentage. I don't know the exact percent. I think it's like 80, 85% blue agave distillate. And then they can add additives above and beyond that. Similar to the way that Canadian whiskey can be 90% rye and then 2% vanilla extract, 5% fucking, anise, whatever it is that they add to it to make it into Canadian whiskey.
To make it bad.
So I haven't done this in a while.
Not as good as American whiskey.
Correct.
I haven't done this in a while.
Patriotism.
Sponsor us, Nipple Batman.
Yeah, sponsor us, Nipple Batman.
Let's play some D&D.
Let's do that.
One more drink. We got one more drink real quick.
One more
Sorry
drink.
about the discussion.
I made a it's a classic sherry cobbler. There's not like a set recipe.
And it's so good.
It's so very good.
It's 3 ounces sherry, Amontillado sherry.
Vera Amontillado.
It's and
Honestly,
then I
this is
threw
like
in
the best.
4.
This is the best
Yeah,
stuff.
it's really good. I threw in 4 blackberries, about 10 mint leaves, and like a generous a slice of orange and just shook the living crap out of it with a large cube, strained it into a glass, and garnished with a sprig mint and a wedge of orange.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm making magic items, guys. While you guys talk, I'm making magic items.
That's fair.
So, at this point, Prosperin is exiting the conference room. It is also there were light snacks and wine provided for you. However, both the presence of Prosperin and the Lord Richter fucked all of you up enough that you didn't realize it until they have all left, and there now are delicious snacks sitting there on the table, untouched.
Do you want me to roll perception for snacks?
No, at this point, I'm going to let you all have it. You're just going to be like, oh, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, as soon as there's snacks, I'm getting after it.
Yeah. So, it is now right around lunchtime for you guys. The day is now yours. Like, you guys have hit everything that you guys need to do for this day. What would you like to do?
We would like to make a reservation to go to the restaurant that was referred to us by the oldest living being on the planet.
Grace.
We don't actually know that, but definitely the oldest living being in town.
At least. For all intents and purposes. The oldest living.
I need Ellen Sarc to roll insight checks for me, please.
Well, I don't have insight on this character. I keep forgetting that. I deliberately don't have insight on this character.
I probably do.
It's such a good skill.
Well, it's so broad. It kind of fits. Like, if you can't think of a skill check to make, you could probably justifiably put it into insight.
You beat me because that's my total. Do you see what I rolled? No.
Yeah.
I got a 17.
I got an
Okay.
8.
You got a what? 18? Okay. Both of you know that you could probably get that taken care of through the secretary upstairs in the manager's office. She could probably take care of that for you. It'd probably be a whole lot easier than you trying to do it.
Sarc will volunteer to go take care of that, mostly so he can go get his clothes ordered too from the same person.
Okay, cool.
So Sarc will I'll be right back and just kind of like jogs off.
And we're making a dinner reservation, right?
Yep.
And it's what time of day?
It's lunchtime right now.
Yeah, noonish.
So it's 1300.
Like Sarc will be
26. There's 26 hours in the day.
Yeah, we're at 1300. All right.
So we got we got several hours of light left.
Yeah, we're good.
Because I'm assuming I know Sarc well enough to know roughly when he's gonna try to get the reservation.
Sure, go ahead and roll insight. That's another insight check. And then if it's good enough, you can Sarc will tell us what time he's going to make the reservation for.
That's a 19.
Yeah.
Dirty or
dirty 19.
Yeah, dirty 19.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be made for sundown.
Yeah. It's like 7 p.m., 7:30.
This time of year, probably closer to 8.
Okay. Yeah.
He also knows his friends, and they're like, they need more time in the city.
It's it's kind of like late so here, because now that you are on the southern continent, it is late summer.
Yeah.
Right? So you guys have only kind of been within the tropical regions of the planet, because Wudan is kind of sitting at the top of the tropic area in the north. But here you are in a temperate southern climate.
Look, we've been very piratical. That makes sense.
So, if we want to buy magic stuff, maybe magic stuff that pokes people out, where should we go?
Unless you want something very specific, we want the night market.
Is that like a time of day thing, or is that a place?
Is that a time of day thing, Morgan?
It's a place.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I was just double checking.
No, it's a good question. It's a good question.
Skeleton is like, yes, also me, though. Also, I would like to go.
It's a place. We need to go to the old aqueduct.
A place with water?
No. Used to have water.
A place that formerly had water.
Yes. Now it
I'm
is
in.
a
I'm in.
giant concrete-ish brick place where you can buy pretty much anything you want to buy.
That's the best part of everything you've said today.
You can maybe get custom-made stuff there, depending on who you talk to.
That's the way.
But if you're just looking for random shit like we are right now, that's where we're going.
That's the way. Do you want something magical to poke things with?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we're in.
Yeah.
We're both in. Let's do this shit.
I was already planning on us going there.
Yeah.
'cause We
That's
need
fair.
to go there regardless.
That's totally fair.
Even before we had pounds of platinum to spend. Also, we should probably stop by a bank.
What is a
Why
bank?
would we do that?
Yeah, where's the
So we're not carrying half a ton of platinum around each.
Why would we not carry around half a ton of platinum?
Because it's fucking heavy.
Yeah, but we got a ship.
What is a bank?
Our ship
It's where you
is a
put
bank.
money and then you can hand them stuff that says, yes,
hold
that
on,
you have
hold on.
money.
A bank is a place where other people hold on to your money and then they tell you whether or not you're allowed to spend it.
Not
Based
here.
Based on whether or not they're making enough profit off of having your money.
Not here. Not here. It is purely storage.
Then how do they make money?
This is as close to a leftist utopia as you're gonna find.
That's fair. Skeld says everything that I just said.
Oh, I'm sure. This is the
And
great
I'm-
voice of the universe.
I'm fine with him being wrong about the situation, but he's like, don't fuck around with banks, bro. Like, they'll fucking hold on to your money and you won't be able to spend it. It's a trap. It's a trap. Don't do that shit.
I will correct him after his tirade, because he's used to Scald at this point. He'll let him finish his tirade.
Yeah.
And then he's not wrong other places, but that's not how it works here.
How does it work here?
You give them your money, and they keep your money for you, and then when you want to spend your money, you can hand them a piece of paper that says, this place has my money. And then they can take that amount of money from it.
So why would they provide this service?
Mostly has the manager.
Oh, so it's just an imposition of will.
What isn't?
I'm not saying anything else isn't. I'm just saying the reason this works for us is an imposition of will.
I mean, that's how a lot of stuff works for us. And I'll nod over at Sarc.
As soon as Skeld sees you nod over at Sarc when you're saying this, Skeld is like, yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, let's put our money in the bank. Because it feels like we'll just be able to walk around and tell people we have money in the bank.
Sarc and L. When the manager said my city, like what?
You meant Tinkermire.
Did he build it? Does
I
he
think
own it?
the manager owns the city,
I mean, not the whole city.
but like basically the whole city.
But he's talking like it's like ownership, and
Only
Yeah,
the
the manager owns the city. Yeah.
Sarc and L, please roll a history check for me, please.
When you say the important parts, do you mean the not poor parts?
That's even funnier. No, he would own large swaths of the poor parts.
I mean, I know. John knows that. The skeleton is a disaffected leftist, so you know.
That's a 27
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you have a plus. Yeah, that makes sense.
plus 9.
Skeld is even more of a disaffected leftist than
I got a
John
19.
is.
That's saying
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
So when it comes to when the manager says his city, it actually isn't a matter of ownership in the sense of actual physical ownership. It's what people say when they talk about New York, how it's my city, right? This is my town, right? He has been here since its foundation. He has fought to protect this city. And he really cares about the people and the space that this is. When he owns large swaths of the poorer parts of town, which isn't really that poor, it's because he knows that there are people who need help and that he's going to provide that space. Yes, he does certain things that are unsavory. He hoards certain resources, i.e. information. But he usually does it in the mindset of protecting the people within this space.
He's the capitalist.
He's what?
He's the class trader.
Who is this John Galt?
Okay.
Jesus.
Both of you guys, I'm going to shoot you the next time I see you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
He is the one who has taken his space and his power and has done what he can to just make this city something that is unlike anywhere else, right? That is welcoming, that is open, even though no matter how hard he tries, because he does operate in a more shadowy way, that he doesn't necessarily always have all the power that people ascribe to him, but he's not afraid to threaten them with power that he doesn't have. So that's what he means by his city.
Skald turns to Sarc. And he says, "Is there poverty in this town?"
There's always poverty.
Is there poverty like I've known it?
That's going to be a no.
Sark would respond with, "Not sure I know your poverty."
Are there children scraping by? Are there...
There are not abandoned children.
What does that mean to you?
We came here with absolutely no money.
What happened?
I didn't go hungry.
There's always
I had a roof.
options for children.
Interesting.
They are free to not choose them.
What are those options? Are the options to engage in illicit activities? Or are there options that are considered respectable?
There are plenty of places
That's a
that are
pretty blurry
just
line here.
You know what I consider respectable, Al.
There are plenty of places that freely provide food and shelter as needed.
Interesting. This is an interesting place you call your home, my friends.
It is. That's why it's his city.
Yeah, I think it is his city, isn't it?
Like Haven is mine.
No, I don't think it's the same way.
He cares for people.
You care
a
for
few
people.
thousand years, a bit more money. And he
Yeah, I feel like that's
maybe
way
not more money at the
fucking-
moment.
Patrice decides to buy Haven when we get back.
There's a difference in means, Patrice. You currently have the means, but you did not before this.
I think
And
Patrice
there's-
is talking about something way fucking different.
Not really.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
I think philosophically, I would say that I care for Haven.
I can only see this from my perspective. You know.
I think the main difference between the manager and the people that rule over the other cities is that they hoard wealth. He hoards information. That's what we deal in.
That's fair.
Information is power, so he has the power.
It is. Yes. I think from my stance,
Also, being friends with the Richter clan does not hurt.
a person who has no home, no place that they consider their own. It's interesting to see individuals who put such stock in a physical locality. Individuals who care about people based on the location in which they're born. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If there's no children here who suffer the torments and the afflictions that I suffered as a child, then that's a good thing, regardless of the means by which it is brought to pass. But I think a major difference between what the manager is doing here and what you would do had you the means in Haven is both the means and the compulsion. I don't think that you seek to rule Haven, Patrice. I think that you seek to serve Haven.
As all of this conversation is happening, SOA just like absent-mindedly summons a sword, and then it disappears.
Ooh, nice.
I have an 18 passive. That's all I'm gonna say. So I got an 8.
Oh, she's not. She doesn't realize she's doing it. She's not trying to hide it. But like, yeah, absent-minded, just like it probably looks like a rapier because it's what she's used to. And it goes away.
Actually, go ahead and roll a D100 for me, please.
I'm at a 15 passive perception.
Also 18.
33.
Ooh, good number.
Yeah,
So-
I'm happy about that number for
Yeah,
this.
solid.
As you are you doing this like just kind of reflexively multiple times?
Oh, I think it's yes. As long it's reflectively, it's multiple times. As long as the conversation about Haven is happening.
So every time that you reflexively summon a sword or a weapon, I should say, it changes. First, it's a rapier. Then it's a falchion. Then it is a warhammer. Then it is a mace. And it just continues on through the single-handed, anything that has like the versatile or single-handed characteristic.
Yeah.
You just keep, as you keep doing it, you keep flopping.
Yeah.
And then everybody, does anyone have less than a 15 passive perception that is not SOA?
I'm pretty sure I do.
Do you? Of course you
Say,
would.
like it's.
Why would you?
Oh no,
not
SOA's
that?
just went up. So SOA's a 15
It's just 10
now.
plus wisdom.
Yeah. No, 10
yeah.
plus your perception.
Perception score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not.
8 plus proficiency plus perception.
It's 10.
No, it's 10 plus your proficiency plus your.
Yeah,
Patrice-
spell save.
Right.
Patrice and L do not see it.
So, Sarc, Scald, and Sid all watch as this is as the conversation is happening. You watch as SOA is summoning. We'll say it's a spectral weapon every time. It doesn't quite have full form yet.
SOA. What are you doing?
Huh?
What are those weapons that keep appearing in your hand, right? Probably?
Yeah.
You can make weapons appear now?
Maybe?
I didn't say anything, but they're...
No, like they just.
I don't.
SOA.
Does anyone else? There's like
I don't-
shimmery effects. Does anyone else like? I saw Warhammer and a,
I don't.
and I saw a scimitar and a falchion.
What's the weapon you choose? What's your weapon of
I
choice?
mean, I've been on ships, so it's been a rapier, but
Is that the weapon you want to use?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know what weapon you're most comfortable with?
That's the one I know.
Then choose it.
I mean, we can take you somewhere with a bunch of different weapons. You can swing around and see what happens.
That
That's
sounds like fun.
that's definitely a possibility. But you got to choose a weapon.
Or does the weapon choose you?
No, she chooses the weapon. We are our own masters. We're not beholden to gods.
There are some weapons that will choose you. They are sentient.
But they'll conform to your shape if they really want to be your weapon.
Or you'll conform to their shape because they're cursed.
Let's not think about
Speaking of,
Patrice is way too optimistic to say that. That is not what Patrice would say. Patrice does not think that way.
I agree. Patrice would say it, but he wouldn't like. He's like he
doesn't
would be
know the
very puzzled by it. Like,
ramifications.
He'd be like, I've read that there are cursed weapons that would conform, like kind of thing. And Sarc, as soon as he hears that, goes, "Oh, speaking of, since we're in a place that is probably safer," puts on the ring that he took from the dragon born and starts to attune to it.
Upon seeing Sarc put on his ring, Skald thinks about the ring that he purchased and starts rubbing the ring absent-mindedly and thinking about what that ring could possibly be.
I'm trying to remember which rings I gave you guys.
I have a ring of Jinn summoning.
That's right. And then so Sarc has the ring of Whispering Winds, I believe.
I have no idea. It's the one that I took off of the Dragonborn that Prosperin has as a specimen.
Okay.
I have no idea what it does.
Nobody's asked me to identify them, so I haven't.
I don't remember rings at all.
Thank you for reminding me. Because as hard as I try to remember, I cannot keep track of all the shit that I give you guys.
It's called collaborative storytelling, Morgan.
That's what player notes are for.
That's right.
Also, my passive is.
Oh, I thought that was the ring that you had.
And you know what? I would not have remembered that I had this ring if Nate hadn't brought up rubbing the ring he picked up off of a body. And I was like, well, I bought some shit, and my player knowledge is way bigger than my character knowledge. So let's have our character fuck around with that ring for a second. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to work. It might not work. He's just fucking with it. All right?
Also, is this... Like, because we're in Tinkermire, is this somewhere we'd be wearing our medallions openly?
No.
Okay.
Even though like it's one of those things that the manager is talked about in whispered tones.
Sure.
He's never really acknowledged, except for in a few spaces, some of the temples here, especially the Temple of Helm, which has a massive archive and library. Surprisingly, the Tinkermirian Foreign Legion has a lot of knowledge about the manager. And then that's pretty much it. There's a couple of the more wealthy individuals here who would have some knowledge, mostly because he uses their knowledge of him as a weapon kind of thing, you know? So it's really not that known. I mean, you could wear it openly. Most people wouldn't even know what the fuck it is.
It's
It's like the fucking Rothschild conspiracy theory, right? Like
So much so.
But it's a beholder
Yeah.
in one city.
the main thrust of that question was more, is there something that we can wear openly that is basically the equivalent of for the like pickpockets to leave us alone, stuff like that? Like some equivalent of like don't fuck with us that is openly displayed.
There may be. I don't know, because that's not something I had thought about. So I will answer that question at another date. It's a good question.
Alans are probably wearing them.
No, I think that they would. That's something. It's definitely something tied with Nine Brothers or something like that. There's some sort of thing that you guys can do that will signify you as a don't fuck with class. Now, granted, in this particular case, petty crime like pickpocketing and things like that are actually fairly rare here in Tinkermire. But it's not a perfect utopia. It does happen.
Sarc would wear it just so he could break the hands of the people who tried it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now that all this has been said, where are you guys heading to?
The night market?
Yeah, that's where I was planning to lead them to.
Pretty sure we're kind of making our way out of the tower to go there.
Yeah, we'll say at this point you guys exit the tower, and that the main entrance actually exit onto this gorgeous pedestrian-only street that lines a wharf that looks over into Hill Hazy Lagoon. It is even for a ground level view, it is spectacular. This water is so big you cannot see to the other side. There is one little kind of hazy dot off a little bit, kind of to like your 10 o'clock as you look straight ahead, and it kind of looks like a little brown, and it looks like maybe there's some land way out there. As you look to the left, you see a continuous line of similar buildings, skyscrapers, except for probably about half a block away, there's this weird gap where there are no buildings, and you see a little bit of greenery peeking over the sidewalk. And then as you look to the right is where you see kind of the entrance to the long jetty that goes out the docks. And then there's a street that goes east and west, and that's eventually where Sarc and L lead you. And the streets, after you get about 3 blocks inwards to the west, stop being straight, and they begin to become this curvy, circuitous route that you can tell is part of the old city. Eventually, you are led to one of the pillars that uphold the massive, what looks like concrete and stone aqueduct that is 200 plus feet. It's not even the highest structure in the city because of these buildings that line the wharf. However, when you enter into this pillar, they have these discs that lift you up. And as you exit, you walk out to see something that is avenue size, huge, lined on both sides, shops and restaurants and workshops that are just bustling. This is probably the busiest part, and this is not a small, quiet city. The entire city is just alive and vibrant, and in a way that most of you have never experienced before. Sarc and L, you feel just this instant comfort in this space that you have spent so much time. The rest of you, this is slightly overwhelming. Even those of you who have been to many places, this is the largest amount of people in one place any of you have seen. And as you look down and over this massive city, off to the north, you see what appears to be a military encampment. Then as you swing down to the south, you see there are tall trees that have been turned into a workshop and what appears to be an airship, which is very different than the one that you guys are in. It is kind of blunt nose. It doesn't really look like a ship at all, and they're being built further to the south. You take in a deep inhale, and you get the sense of spice and food, roasting meats, nuts being cooked in the stalls. You hear the sounds of bartering, of the exchange of coin. All of you are feeling alive and vibrant in this space. That's where we'll pick up next session.
Oh, shit!
Nice.
So good. So good.
So thank you, as always, everyone, for joining us on this journey of cooperative storytelling. I hope you enjoyed it. You got to meet some really interesting people this session that some groups had waited literal years to meet. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. We're in one of my favorite parts of my world. So thank you so much for joining us. As always, feel free to join us on all of our interwebby things. There are links in the description. You can also find us on Instagram at Campaign Concoctions Pod. Probably the best way. Jared has been killing it on the Instagram lately. It looks so good every time he posts.
Fucking amazing.
There's going to be videos of drinks now.
I'm super excited. It's going to look great. So thank you, as always, for joining us. Please, if you like what you're hearing, like, subscribe, share, all the good things. Keep an eye out. We're going to be posting some questions here soon about some possible things in the future that will be available only on Spotify. So if that's your thing, go there, hit the thing, whatever. We're going to have some questions. So thank you again, as everyone, and until next time, drink well.
Wow.